13B, number 13. A National Football League kicker has made 80% of his field goal attempts in the past. This season he attempts 20 field goals. The attempts differ widely in distance, angle, wind, and so on. Is it reasonable to expect that a binomial distribution will at least approximately describe the number of successful field goals? Explain your answer. All right, if you remember from the lecture, there are four requirements for something to be a binomial setting. And let's go over the four really quick before we answer this question. So the first condition or requirement is the total number of observation n is fixed in advance. Let's look at the question actually, and let's see if that's fulfilled. So it says here, this season he attempts 20 field goals right here. So n is fixed, definitely. So that's fulfilled. The second says each observation falls into just one of two categories, success and failure. Now, if you if you know football, when somebody kicks a field goal, he either makes a field goal or he misses. So in that sense, there is just a success and a failure. But if you focus on the, it's kind of a discretion right here, this last part of the question. It says the attempts differ widely in distance, angle, wind, and so on. So because of that, this second requirement isn't really fulfilled, because yes, you can either miss or make a field goal, but each and every time he steps up to make a field goal, um, all these different conditions vary his ability to succeed or fail. So that's where it would be a problem, where this would not fit the binomial setting. But the third says the outcomes of all n observations are statistically independent. So he steps up to kick a field goal the first time. The second time he kicks a field goal, his previous field goal doesn't really affect the second time he kicks. So when you think of it that way, each kick is independent of each other. So that part is true. The fourth says all n observations have the same probability of success as p. And this is also true because it says here that he makes 80% of his field goal attempts. Okay, so because just 3 of the 4 are fulfilled, it's either A or B. A says the number of his successes doesn't have a binomial distribution. The attempts differ widely in distance, angle, wind, and so on. Thus, the attempts are not independent. Okay, so this right here doesn't accurately, argue that it doesn't fulfill the requirements because they are independent of each other. So A would not be true. So B says the number of successes doesn't have a binomial distribution. The attempts differ widely in distance, angle, wind, and so on. Thus, the probability of success is not the same for each attempt. So that is true. So B is your answer. So, this question isn't really that difficult, but the reason I'm doing it is because you will almost likely see a question like this in your test where you're going to have to remember these 4 requirements. So make sure you memorize them. Make sure you're pretty confident in what they all mean, because this will be something that you'll be tested on. So hope that is clear.